Hi students, welcome back. Coming to our next topic, that is concurrency control techniques. So let us see what are the different techniques that are there in concurrency control. So in the previous video I already said what is a concurrency. Let us see. Actually concurrency is nothing but it is a process of managing simultaneous execution of transactions. Simultaneous execution of transactions. So if you take so many transactions, is the concurrency is a process of managing all the simultaneous execution of transaction in a shared database. So the main thing is in a shared database. Suppose if all of the people are using so many of people are using the same database, suppose ATM, I already said this example. So different people are accessing the same ATM, the SBI ATM. This is the SBI database. So all the people, so many people are withdrawing their money by using the ATM, that is the SBI ATM, means they are interacting with the SBI database. So here so many transactions or multiple transactions are done on the same database. So this you call it as a concurrency. So concurrency is a process of managing simultaneous execution of transactions. So different people are accessing at the same time. So this concurrency is managing all the simultaneous execution of these transactions who are working on the same database. So that is, they are sharing their database. That you call it as a concurrency technique. Concurrency control. So let us see what are the purpose of concurrency controls. Why we are using this concurrency control. Purpose of concurrency control. Okay, so what are these purpose? So the different purpose of concurrency control is, first one is to enforce isolation. So everyone knows that whatever the database that should be accessing, or the transactions that are accessing on the database should be in isolation. So the purpose of using the concurrency control to enforce them into isolation, to preserve database consistency. So you are maintaining the database always in consistent state, and to resolve conflicts. So and this concurrency control is used to resolve the conflicts. What are those conflicts? Read-write conflict, write-read conflict, and write-write conflict. So I already discussed this in the previous video. Okay, so the purpose of concurrency control is, we are using this concurrency control to enforce isolation, to preserve database consistency, and to resolve the conflicts of read-write, write-read, and write-write conflicts. Okay, so this is the purpose. So let us see what are the techniques of concurrency control. So to maintain a concurrency and you have to maintain it control, what are the techniques that are involved? Or first one is locking. Locking is one of the technique used in the concurrency control. Timestamp based, third one optimistic, and fourth one is multi-version. So these are the four techniques that are used in the concurrency control: locking, timestamp based, optimistic, and multi-version. Okay, so let us see the first technique, log based protocol, locking. So what is this locking? So the first technique in concurrency control is log based protocol. Okay, so what is this log based protocol? The name itself is saying it is locking the transaction. So whatever the transaction it is doing, it first locking the transaction, doing the operations, again after that it releasing the transaction lock by using unlock. Okay, so a lock guarantees exclusive use of data items. Exclusive use of data items to a current transaction. So that is the purpose of using the lock. So the lock based protocol, here the lock guarantees, what it ensures, the exclusive use of data items to a current transaction. So if the current some particular transaction is executing, so those data items will be exclusively used for only for the current transactions. For that purpose we are using the lock. So this lock ensures the exclusive use of data items to a current transaction. So what it does, first it access data items. So whatever how it access the data items, by lock acquire. By lock acquire, it access the data items. So next what it does, after completion of transaction, it releases the lock. Release lock. So in the lock based protocol, first the lock will be acquired by the transaction. So once it acquires the transaction, it does the operation by accessing the data items. After completion of transaction, it releases the lock. First acquires lock, after that releases lock. Here all data items must be accessed in a mutually exclusive manner. Okay, so here different types of locks will be there. Types of locks. So the two types of locks are shared lock and exclusive lock. Okay, so these are the two different types of locks that are used in the lock based protocol. One is a shared lock and next is the exclusive lock. So shared lock will be called as lock S. So whenever it is lock S, you call it as a shared lock. And exclusive lock means lock X. So exclusive lock means lock X is the exclusive lock. So what is a shared lock here? In the shared lock, we use only the here in the if the transaction is using the shared lock, means the transaction can read only the data items, data item values. So the main purpose of shared lock is it only reads the data items values, whereas exclusive lock use it for both read and write data item values. So exclusive lock is used for both read and write operations, whereas shared lock is only for read. If you want to read the data items, you just use the shared lock. If you want to save the data items, if you want to read and save the data items, you just use the exclusive lock. Okay, so these are the different types of locks used, shared lock and exclusive lock. So let us see the example how the lock will work. Okay, so example of lock based protocol. Let us take two transactions, T1 and T2. So first what it is doing, first lock. So which lock we are taking? Exclusive lock. So whenever you take X means you can perform both read and write operations, XB. So now the transaction, the data item is locked. Okay, first read B. After that, B minus some 50. You are doing means you are deducting some 50 amount from the B account. And then write B. Okay. Now unlock B. So whenever you use unlock B means now the data item is released. Then this data item can be used by the other transaction. Okay. Suppose if you use lock SB. SB means shared lock. So in the shared lock, you can only read the data item. So read the B value and unlock B. Okay. So this you call it as a shared lock. First you are locking that, acquiring the data items means lock acquire is there. After that you are reading the operation and you are unlocking the data item. Okay, so this is a shared lock. Only read operation will be done. So in the, this is, you call it as exclusive lock. So exclusive lock, here you can read or write. So here we are doing the read operation as well as the write operation. So this is the lock based protocol, T1 and T2 transaction. Here you have to be note that, okay, any number of transactions, can hold shared lock. Okay, so any number of transaction can hold shared lock, but exclusive lock can be hold only one transaction, only by one transaction at a time. So this is the important note you have to be remember. So while you are using the shared and exclusive locks, so here the main point here is any number of transaction can hold shared lock. Shared lock can hold any number of transaction, but the exclusive lock can be hold only by one transaction at a time. Only it can hold one transaction at a time, whereas shared lock can hold any number of transactions. Because the shared is only reading the data, it is not modifying anything, it's just reading the data. Whereas exclusive lock is doing the read and write operations. So for that case, that is the reason the exclusive lock can be held only by one transaction at a time. Okay, thank you.